And we're live. Welcome back everyone for another episode of FPL Focal. How are we all doing? It's game week 36, 1 hour till the deadline. Hope you're all well. Hope you've all had a good week. Yeah, blank game week this game week, so no fixture for Arsenal, for Man United, for Chelsea, for Leicester. And it doesn't look good for my team. I'm only going to be able to field probably 9. If you count Forster. Masuaku looks like he's going to be out injured, so won't get him playing, but is what it is. I'm fairly happy with the players I do have out, and I'm going to make one last transfer during the stream, so remind me if I forget. So welcome to the stream everyone, hope you're all well, hope you've had a good week. Ayush, Adam, Aiden, EJT, Hendo, James, Kobe, Sponchi, Vijay. Who's everyone going to captain this game week? Sponchi, is the armband on wood again? Or are you going more sensible this week? I think this game week, Salah's going to be the most heavily captained. He's kind of the most obvious pick. He plays West Brom, obviously, who are already relegated. But you could make the argument for Kane as well. The 3 players that were in the captain's video this game week were Salah, Kane and DCL. And I think they're all viable captains. As I say, Salah plays West Brom, who are already relegated now, so there's question marks about what motivation they've got left, whether they're going to be that committed. Obviously, Kane's got Wolves, which is a tougher fixture, but you can make the argument Kane's the sort of player who needs a couple of games to get back to full fitness, so I think Kane's an interesting alternative. And DCL obviously has the Sheffield fixture, so he's a very strong pick as well. If anyone hasn't voted on the captain poll yet, don't forget to do that. That's on our Discord. Link to the Discord is in the description. I'll have a look at the results of that a little bit later in the stream. Got loads prepared for this one, so we'll do the news roundup. We'll have a look at the Kings of the game week. We'll have a look at the scout pick results last game week. And of course the scout selection for this game week. We've got the Bookies Odds for the clean sheets and Goalscorer Odds. We've got the most transferred in and out players this game week. And loads more prepared, so loads to get through on this one. How many players can everyone field this game week? Anyone in chat able to field a full 11? Stuart asks, Captain Kane or Son? Don't have Salah. I would go Kane. Obviously he's on penalty duties, and although Son scored last game week, I think I'd still back Kane personally. How you doing, Adam? Captain Salah for Adam. EJT's going Captain Salah as well. VJ's going Watkins. I think that's a bit of a Villa's bias creeping in there. Villa bias keep creeping in there. But he does have Crystal Palace, who have been pretty terrible defensively. So could be a decent game for Villa. Obviously, Watkins picked up the red card in the first of the double, which was a bit of a disaster. So he has had a little bit of a rest, and he's back for the Palace game. 11 for Vijay, 11 for Kobe. Adam could do 10 with a -4. Are you going to do the -4, Adam? Who's the -4 for? 11 for Sponchi. 9 players for Nimrod taking a -4. I'm in the same boat as you, Nimrod. So I've got Masuaku, who I don't expect will play, and obviously I've got Forster, who I don't expect will play based on Hassan Hootal's comments. He said he was going to give Forster a couple of games, and then he was going to give McCarthy a couple of games. So I think McForce is probably not going to play this one. I do think it's going to be McCarthy that comes back in, so I'll be without a playing keeper. And as I say, Masuaku, according to ex-West Ham United employee, is out for probably the remainder of the season. Anyway, let's crack on with the news roundup. Starting with Spurs. So Ryan Mason said it's just Ben Davies that's out, and he'd be surprised if he's in contention for any of the remaining fixtures. So Reguilon's really the only other option they've got at left back, so he looks nailed for the remainder. No Ben Davies though. One player who also missed out last game was Rudiger. He missed out in the second of the double game week for Chelsea. Tuchel said for Rudiger, we did not want to overload him due to a chance of injury. And they said, we've already lost Christensen and there was no chance I took this risk now and have 2 centre-backs injured. So looks like Rudiger's absolutely fine. He'll be back. No issues there. Yeah, so unfortunately, Wilson, Bruce said, in hindsight, I should have taken him off before, but it's the other side to his previous injury. We expect it to be 2 or 3 weeks, so it's nothing like the last one, which is good. But still a shame he can't finish the season with us. This one's really a shame because Wilson was going to be my transfer in for Gameweek 37 because they finished the season with 2 really strong fixtures. So it's a shame for Wilson to pick up their injury. Another player who picked up an injury is Veltman, who's still recovering. So it looks like Veltman's not going to make this game. Davey Proper, another one also missing. But apart from that, they should be okay. The other player obviously missing for Brighton is Dunk, who picked up a red card. So he's going to be out for the West Ham fixture this game week. So one of the players I brought in this game week is Antonio. I've sold Iheanacho for him. So hopefully that'll be... hopefully there's opportunities there for West Ham to put a few past Brighton, considering a couple of absentees in defence. And we saw in yesterday's game that after the full-time whistle, Klopp went over to Mane, to shake his hand, to say well done. Obviously it was a massive win for Liverpool at Old Trafford. And Mane refused to shake his hand and so basically stormed off. And Klopp said, yesterday I made a late decision in training, really late, and changed Diogo Jota for Sadio. My players are used to it. That I explained, but I didn't do that yet. So basically what happened is last minute Mane was in the starting 11 and then ended up benched. So he was pretty pissed off about that. Obviously he scored in the first of the double for Liverpool. And he seemed pretty unhappy about it. But Klopp did go on to say that there's nothing in it, it's all fine. Nothing to be worried about. Although I do wonder if Mane plays or not. Whether they play Jota again, who obviously scored against Man United. And I do think he's the better of the two right now. So this one's for Vijay. Emi Martinez becomes the second highest goal-scoring goalkeeper in FPL history with 178 points. It was Brad Friedel who got 187 points, but that was back in the 2002-03 season. And he's the only keeper that scored more. So did you guys reckon Martinez beats him with 3 games left? He's basically got a gap of 9 points to make up, and he'd become the highest scoring goalkeeper in FPL history. And he would have broken a record that would stand for 20 years as well, which is unbelievable. What do you guys think? Obviously he got another double-digit return in yesterday's game against Everton. Really, really good performance again from Martinez. Has to be the signing of the season, right? And on Kevin De Bruyne, Guardiola said he's still injured. He's getting better, and when he's fit, he'll come to training. The guys who are completely fit will have the chance to play in the Champions League final. So Kevin De Bruyne, another one who's not going to make this game against Newcastle, tonight's fixture. A really good fixture. It looks like he's going to miss out. And another player who might miss out, if this is to be believed, this is just rumours. But Unit_Football, they have been posted a few leaks lately on Twitter. And they said they're told Scott Carson starts for Man City tonight in this Newcastle fixture. Scott Carson, I had a look, and he's priced 3.9. I almost considered doing Forster to Carson for a hit, but I think I've lost the plot if I take a hit for Carson, right? but apparently he's going to be in the starting 11 tonight, so we'll see. And lastly, we'll just quickly look back at Game Week 35, Triple Game Week. Of all the players, it was Emil Smith-Rowe from Arsenal that made the Kings of the Game Week with his 19-pointer. Obviously scored 2, one in each of the double Game Week fixtures for him. And he's the cheapest player to make the Kings all season. 4.2 he costs. Don't think he'll be anywhere near that cheap next season. But what a promising talent he is. And he makes the Kings with his 19-pointer. So welcome to the Kings, Smith-Rowe. And this was the scout selection back for the triple Game Week 35. Can anyone guess how many points the scout got in Triple Game Week 35? So they had Guaita, Trent, Castagna, Maguire, Bruno Captain, Salah, Greenwood, Ward-Prowse, Calvert-Lewin, Watkins, and Iheanacho. Sorry, I'm really behind on chat. Let's see where I got to. Monkey Man, how you doing, mate? I haven't seen the new Arsenal kit, Vijay. Is it nice? What are your thoughts? Vijay says Duncan Mopai will miss the remainder of the season. That's right, yeah, because Mopai got straight red, so that's 3 games. I hadn't even clocked that. And Dunk as well. Was this a straight red? I knew Dunk was suspended. I didn't realise it was a straight red. Ilham, how you doing? So currently on -4. Would you consider taking a -8 to bring in Bamford or Antonio for Iheanacho? Otherwise, I won't have a full playing 11. I think personally, there's logic in Antonio for Iheanacho. If you look at the fixtures he's got, he plays Brighton this weekend, who obviously are missing Dunk, and they're missing Veltman. And then I think after that, he's got West Brom, which is obviously a really strong fixture. And then he's got Southampton at home, so that's going to be in front of fans as well. So 3 really good fixtures for Antonio. So I think, yeah, there's logic in Iheanacho for Antonio, especially because Iheanacho's got a few hard fixtures to come. Monkey Man's seen it already. Yeah, it was 120 points for the scout. I think a few of you must have seen it already. Obviously, I post this on Reddit as well and on my Twitter. So, yeah, if anyone isn't following me there, I'm also on Twitter. Link in the description for that. Cheeky plug. And lastly, this is the Premier League players, FPL League. Not much movement, really. Actually, none of them broke 100 points in Gameweek 35. But James Justin's still way out in front. 1.6k overall rank. Not much movement besides that. Matt Target dropped to 8th place. He's 1 mil overall. Harry Maguire's still sitting in 4th place. Oh, interesting. I'm pretty sure last game week Harry Maguire had not owned himself all season. So I think Maguire must have picked himself up for the triple. Let's see if that's right. He did. So Maguire sold Reguilon and brought himself in and captained himself. No. Absolute disaster from Maguire. I mean, disaster for all of us that owned him. But this was the first game week all season. I'm going to have to tweet about this after the stream. That's hilarious. It was the first game week all season that Maguire owned himself. And he brought himself in and got injured. Ah, absolutely gutting that injury. Even more so now for him. What a disaster. That belongs in the disaster class channel on the Discord. Chris, how you doing? He says Nacho to Antonio or Bamford or Rudiger to Dallas. I would do Nacho to Antonio personally. It's really it's a difficult one between Bamford and Antonio because they've both got 3 good fixtures to finish the season. Obviously we talked about Antonio's. He's got a Brighton game, then West Brom, then Southampton. But Leeds have got Burnley and then Southampton and West Brom, so there's not much between them. I personally went for Antonio. I think he's a bit more explosive. And I suppose you can make the argument that Leeds have got Rodrigo back, so maybe they'll share some minutes. You know, we have seen Bamford coming off early some games. You know, it was only a couple of game weeks ago he came off in the 59th minute, so no other question for that to happen again. Whereas Antonio, he tends to play the 90. You know, we've seen that for most of these recent game weeks. There was a few games earlier on, but he came off very late in the game. You know, there's no games where he's coming off as early as Bamford has been. And obviously the last 2 games he's played 90. So I think as long as he's fit, and this is what West Ham fans have been saying on Twitter, as long as Antonio's fit, he plays the 90. So I think he's a safer bet. While we're on the subject, I did prepare something for later on the stream, but I think we may as well do it now. I did a little comparison between Antonio and Bamford. And this is just you know, arbitrary game weeks here, but I've picked game week 28 to game week 35, and this is the points per start. Sorry, this is the data per start, and you can see it's a comparison between them, measured on things like expected G, big chances, etc. And you can see in almost every metric, Antonio beats Bamford. So big chances, XG, shots in the box, you know, shots in total, touches, final third touches, key passes, even crosses, big chances created, expected assists, basically every metric Antonio's been beating Bamford. More recently, that is, since game week 28. So that was another reason I ended up opting for Antonio personally, but they're both very good options and they both could do very well. So bit of a coin toss that one really, but we'll see. Where did I get to? So this is the scout selection for game week 36. I'll just read it out in case there's any audio listeners. They've got Edison, Trent, Digne, Dallas, Salah, Son, Traore, Rafinha, Kane, Captain, interesting, Calvert-Lewin and Bamford. So the scout disagrees with my Antonio analysis there, and they've gone for Bamford over Antonio. Absolute disaster if there's any truth to that Carson news, considering the scout have got Edison. What do you guys think of the scout selection this game week? You must be happy with the Traore selection there, Vijay. Kieran's getting Antonio. Stuart says Maddison and Iheanacho to Rafinha and DCL for -4. Yeah, I like that. I think that there's a small chance that Rafinha isn't in the starting 11, but I think he's fairly safe to start. I'd say 75% chance of starting, in my opinion. I think, it wasn't a major injury, and they have been easing him back, so it looks like this will be the game. And yeah, I like the DCL pick as well. Really, really good fixture for Calvert-Lewin and Sheffield at home. Mikey says, do you know if they've reviewed if the Bruno goal will stand or if it will be an own goal? It will stand now. They never retrospectively go back and change things like that once the game week's concluded. So even if they did come out and say today actually it was an own goal, they wouldn't go back and change the points now. Basically what's happened in game week 35 is locked in, which I know has been controversial in the past, but that's how they do it. Once the game week's wrapped up, the points are locked regardless of what they later decide. I think I saw a message there, is Pope injured? Yeah, I heard rumours that Pope's out and it's going to be Peacock Farrell back in goal for Burnley. Again, that came from the same guy who said Scott Carson starts in goal for Man City tonight. So yeah, it looks like Nick Pope's out injured and it's going to be Peacock Farrell that starts for Burnley. Kieran says Focal with Diaz. Will Diaz start? I think he will personally. Obviously, it's very hard to predict the Man City defence, especially now the title's wrapped up. There's no reason why Pep doesn't play the likes of Ake in defence, but I think he will. I mean, Stones has been out for a while as well, so we could see Stones playing for Man City as well tonight. We might see Diaz start this one, miss 37, and then starts in 38, just to keep the the fitness up before the Champions League final. That'd be my guess, but it's Pep, isn't it? So this is the points over the last 5, and Greenwood is top, 48 points he's picked up in the last 5 game weeks. Iheanacho is second on 45 points. Wood third with 39. Son fourth with 38, and Trent is 5th with 37. And this is a real headache. The reason I wanted to highlight this is, the headache it creates because Greenwood and Iheanacho obviously have a blank this game week, and yet they're in the most form right now. No one's scored more points over the last 5 game weeks than these two players. So what are you guys doing? Are you going to be selling Greenwood or Iheanacho if you've got them, or are you keeping hold for the last couple of game weeks they play? In my case, I ended up selling Iheanacho for Antonio. I just think that over 3 games, Antonio probably does better than Iheanacho over 2. Mikey says, what do you think about Bruno to Son, Nacho to Antonio, and Mendy to Melia? Thinking Bruno won't play full 90 versus Wolves, since it's 3 days before the Europa League game. Yeah, I like the Son move, and I like the Antonio move. I'm not sure about the Melia move, to be honest. If I was going to get a keeper, I don't know if you can afford him, but I'd be more tempted by maybe someone like Pickford. I think he might just edge Melia over the final 3. I like the Son and Antonio moves though, I do. I've seen quite a few people that don't own Son doing that Bruno to Son move, so yeah, you're not alone in that thinking, and there is a lot of logic to it. I do like the move. I'm not sure about taking a hit to get Melia though. Probably wouldn't do that last move. So let's have a look at the clean sheet odds for game week 36. Liverpool and Everton top. Both of them on a 51.5% chance according to the bookies of keeping a clean sheet against the respective teams they play. Liverpool have West Brom, Everton have Sheffield. So both of them playing relegated sides, so could be a good game for both Liverpool and Everton. Man City, 49.5% chance of a clean sheet, who play Newcastle tonight. Don't know where those odds will stand if it is actually Scott Carson that ends up starting in goal for them. Tottenham 47% chance of a clean sheet. They play Wolves obviously. Southampton 36% chance. It looks like it would be McCarthy that comes back in goal for Southampton this game week. And unfortunately for Forster owners, myself included, he'll be back on the bench. But we'll have to see what happens, because Forster did well last game. He obviously saved a penalty and impressed in that game. So it'd be a shame for him to be dropped. But it is what Hasenhüttl said would happen. So we'll see if he's a man of his word or not. Babel, how you doing, mate? Adam K, how's it doing? He says, did Vardy to Antonio, but still have Nacho. Interesting. I can see the logic in selling Vardy, and that will give you a load of change to upgrade elsewhere for the last couple of game weeks. Have you decided what you're going to do with that spare money? It's a lot of money to have lying around, isn't it? Ayush says he sold the United boy. Greenwood's out for you, Ayush. El Padrino sold Iheanacho last Sunday for Antonio. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are hopping on the Antonio train. Hopefully it's hopefully it'll do repay us, those that have made that move, because like I say, Antonio's done extremely well over the last 5 game weeks. The second most points of all players. I'm kicking myself for getting Rashford over Greenwood. My thinking was, Greenwood played 90 in the Europa League, so I thought Rashford's probably likelier to get more minutes over the triple game week, but in the end there wasn't much in it in terms of their minutes, and Greenwood was the one who came out on top. James, how you doing, mate? He says, do you think Rafinha will play? Yeah, I do. Like I say, I think there's a 75% chance of him starting. There's a small percent chance that I think they rest him for one more game, but they have eased him back in, I think it's fair to say, off the back of the injury he picked up against Man City. So I think he's ready to be back in the starting 11. Let's move on to the goal scorer odds, which are as follows. So Salah is top, 58.5% chance of a goal for Salah against West Brom. Kane's second on 54% chance. Anyone in chat going Captain Kane for that Wolves fixture? Wolves at home. Yotta's third, 49.5% chance of scoring, according to the bookies. Aguero, 47% chance. I wonder if Aguero could finally be a really strong differential. I don't know if Adam's still here, but throughout the season he was saying, is this the week to get Aguero? And the answer every week was no, I don't think so. But maybe it's finally time to take that punt on Aguero. Maybe that's what you do with all that spare change, Adam. We've got 2 Adams as well, confusingly. So Adam with the blue username is the one that asks about Aguero, but it was Adam K that has the spare change. We've got a few Adams that tune into these streams. And the other thing is, Aguero is, I think he's like 2 goals off breaking the record for goals scored for one team in the Premier League. So, maybe he gets all the starts, so he has a chance of breaking that record. Aish brought in Salah captain. Oh, nice. Good move. Good move. Sold Bruno. So let's have a look at the expected points. If I have it here, do I? I do. Courtesy of fplreview.com. These are the expected points for Gameweek 36. They've got Salah out on top, 7.2 expected points, followed by Kane, 6.3. Mane's up there, 6.2. Trent's 5.5. Anyone going captain Trent? Trent's an interesting one. He's outscored Salah in, I think it's 5 of the last 6 game weeks. I read that stat and it got me thinking, but I think I'll play it safe and go Salah. DCL 5.3 expected points. Robertson's up there. They're obviously back in a Liverpool clean sheet against West Brom, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Digne got 5 expected points for that Sheffield fixture. Son just under 5 expected points. Bamford just under 5 as well. So this is a diagram courtesy of Lego Mane _FPL. Oops, that doesn't fit in. And I just wanted to include this just to highlight the fixture crunches at this time of the season and the minimal amount of rest that teams are getting. I do still think that we're going to see quite a bit of rotation in Game Week 37. Obviously, the way the fixtures fall, they're going to be playing this weekend and then midweek, and then Game Week 38 is obviously on Sunday, and they all play at the same time. But there's quite a few teams here that you can see only get 2 days of rest. So I think we're still going to see quite a bit of rotation, so it's important to have a good bench at this late stage of the season. And obviously the other thing to consider here is beyond Game Week 38, Man United have obviously got the Europa League final. And again, that's only 2 days after Game Week 38. So we might see some heavy rotation from Man United in that last game of the season. Might even see Bruno benched, something like that. And obviously Man City and Chelsea also play, but that's a week after Game Week 38. So I think they'll end up putting a pretty full strength 11 out in 38. Maybe even the same 11 that they play in that Champions League final, just to keep the players sharp and fitness up. And the other graphic from Lego Mane, this is just unbelievable. This is all of the postponements that we've had this season. And this really just highlights how ridiculous this season has been. It really has been unprecedented. I know that's been the overused word of the season, but it is unprecedented. Look at all these fixture postponements we've had to navigate. It really has been a difficult season. And we're almost there, a few game weeks left, but you know, it's crazy when you look at how many games have been moved around, postponed, you know, brought forward, moved backwards. So, yeah, I think this season it's definitely been rewarding to hold on to my free hit. I ended up with about 120 points just because I held on to my free hit for this late stage of the season. There were obviously rumours that they were going to be moving the fixtures around because they're going to accommodate all of the teams with one fixture at home with fans. So I thought I'd better hold on to the free hit for that reason. And it was a bit lucky because of how it ended up, you know, with the triple game week we just had. But it just shows how tough this game week's been. Not this game week, sorry, this season's been. I've got a question for you, chat. Can you guess the most transferred out player heading into this game week? In fact, how many of the most transferred out can you name? I'll do rate my teams at the end of the stream as well. Got a little bit more to get through, and then we'll crack on with the rate my teams and player questions. Sponchy says Ward to Sufal for a hit. Not sure on that one, but it's interesting you ask that, Sponchy, because the transfer I'm probably going to make on this stream is Cody to Sufal for a hit. But Ward has... Who does Ward has? I think he has a much better fixture than Wolves do. I mean, Wolves play Tottenham, which is obviously a tough game, but Palace have got Aston Villa, which is a better fixture, to be fair. I don't think it's the worst decision, because I assume you plan to play Sufal for the final 3 games. And that's my plan, and that's why I'm going to be doing Cody to Sufal. Masuaku, annoyingly, his injury looks like it's going to be bad enough to take him out for the remainder of the season. I had set myself up to have Masuaku for these final 3 games. So it's annoying that planning didn't work out in the end. So most transferred out players, I think was the question. Where is it? So the most transferred out players, top of the list is Iheanacho. Over 500,000 managers have sold Iheanacho heading into this game week. Second most transferred out is Bruno. Almost 500,000. I think by the time we hit the deadline, it will be 500,000 that have transferred Bruno out. Crazy. Massive numbers. Massive wholesale for Iheanacho and Bruno. Vardy, another one. Almost 300,000 managers have sold him. Mason Mount, 250,000 managers have sold him heading into this blank game week for him. As you'd expect, most of these have a blank this game week, and that's why they're the most sold out. Crazy numbers though. Especially Iheanacho, you know, like we saw over the last 5 game weeks, only Greenwood scored more points. Next question then, how many of the most transferred in players can you name? You did well there, James, with those guesses. I think you got all of them. Nacho, Vardy, Bruno, Maguire. How many of the most transferred in can you name heading into game week 36? Ratsk says, who do you think should be in my first 11? Højbjerg or Semedo? I think it'd have to be Semedo, but the best you're really hoping for there is an attacking return, because I don't see Wolves keeping a clean sheet, if I'm honest. Sponsy reckons Bamford and Antontio most transferred in. James reckons it's DCL. James reckons most transferred in Bamford and Bale. JD reckons Antonio. Son, also James guesses. Bamford, Dallas, Son, DCL. Trent, Fuse Trent guesses. Kane, DCL. Most transferred in player was DCL. Just shy of 300k managers have brought him in, and likewise Son, just under 300,000. I think by the time we hit the deadline, as I say, these top three will have over 300,000 transfers in. So a lot of movement heading into this blank game week. Who else? Dallas, yeah. There's a few Dallas guesses in the chat. Salah's up there. No surprises there. Antonio, interesting. 180,000 have transferred him in. Mahrez, interesting to see Mahrez. I think that must be the free hitters influencing some of these numbers, because I'm not sure how many of the final three that Mahrez starts, if I'm honest. Anyway, we're about halfway through to the deadline. Thank you everyone who has tuned in so far. Please do like the video while you're here. It helps others find the channel. And hit subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. Appreciate you all being here. Adam1, Adam2. Ben, Hendo, JD, James. Got two Jameses as well as two Adams. Who else did I miss? Sponshy, Ratsk. Anyone else I missed? Thank you all for being here. At this halfway mark, I think this is a good time to play a round of Who's That Player? If you haven't played before, you will be shown a cutout of a player, and you have to try and guess who that player is. So let's start off with this one. Who's that player? I think this one's one of the easier ones that we've got here. You can kind of tell from the posture. Jameception. Who is that player, chat? Guesses in the chat. Let's hear him. James says Vardy. Sponshy says it's Leno. James says it's Pablo Hernandez. Interesting. Maybe it's not as easy as I thought it was. No one's got it so far. Keep the guesses coming. Ayush says it's Emmy. JD says it's Mahrez. James says, let's go other James. I thought you were guessing Hammers then. Adam says it's Zlatan Ibrahimovic. No one has guessed it so far. I can confirm. No one in chat has guessed it so far. I hope my notes are correct. I've got a huge long list of notes that I prepared for these streams along with the content. And I'm hoping I got the player right. If I do have the player right, one person has guessed it correct. Fazli guesses James Rodriguez. James Yap also guesses Ings. The answer was Danny Ings. Only Nimrod and James got that one. I don't know if you can count James's guess. He said, oh yeah, Ings, after Nimrod's guess. But it was Danny Ings. I thought that was an easier one to start with, but maybe I'm making these too hard now. Let's see if you get the next one. Who is that player? Come on, surely you get that one. Surely. Peter, how you doing? He says, Jota versus Foden versus Mahrez. I would go Yaris. Jota, if I had to pick between those three. The problem with Man City players, obviously, is that their minutes aren't assured, and it's difficult to, to say whether Foden and Mahrez play much over the next three. I think they do get minutes, but I would go Jota. Obviously, there's a chance Jota's benched as well, but I think he's likelier to play and should get more minutes. Okay, everyone got that one. Mahrez, yeah, okay. All right, that one was easier. That was the one I should have started with. What gave it away? Was it the arms? He's got much skinnier arms than Danny Ings had. Oh, it's the hair. Okay. Well, what about this next one? Who's that player? Only for Fun says, thanks for the deadline notifications. You're a lifesaver. You're absolutely welcome. And that does remind me, I need to do the traditional Discord plug, which of course includes the deadline channel. Yares. This is the mashup of Jota and Mahrez. I am stumbling over my words a bit on this stream. I've been sitting at my desk where I'm sitting now for literally 9 straight hours. I didn't have time to go out for lunch. Been working from home today and I'm absolutely exhausted, but of course had to do the deadline stream. Couldn't miss it. Hendo guesses Dallas. Sponsy guesses Dallas. Aiden guesses Dallas. James 1 guesses Dallas Sardinia. El Padrino Dallas. James 2 says Regulon. Stuart says Cookstown Cafu. Only for Fun Dina. The answer was Stuart Dallas. How much do you reckon he'll be priced at next season? Obviously, he started this season at 4.5, and unbelievably, he's the highest scoring defender in the game. Do you reckon he starts at 5.5? Surely not 6. Alright, one more? Should we do one more? Alright, one more. Who's that player? Stuart says, how were your holidays? Yeah, it was really good, thank you. I was properly hungover last Sunday, but really good holiday. It was a bit of a staycation, really. I didn't actually go that far, but I saw all my friends from uni, so it was good to see them. I hadn't seen them for about a year. Oh, that's a good point as well. Do they class Dallas as a defender or a midfielder? Because I think that's going to dictate his price as well. 5.5 defender, you reckon? 6.5 mid. Mikey Saman says, that's a giant, probably Hagrid. Rack says Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch is back. It's not Peter Crouch. Keep the guesses coming. One person's got it. James guesses Dan Burn. He's absolutely spot on. It is Dan Burn. Yeah, Dan Burn. Well played. Thought I'd chuck him in at the end. It wasn't Hagrid, but that was a good guess as well. Alright, final warning to vote on our captain poll. We'll have a look at the results imminently. If anyone's not in our Discord, there's a link in the description. Really, really good FPL resource. We've got things like the price changes, the lineups, the live scores, bonus points. Got the old stat spot, so you can do info, then pick a player, and then boom. Can't trust you, Irish, can I? You could do the info command that will give you info about a player, injury updates. We've got game week stats, top 10k stats, insider trading. This one's really cool. It shows the transfers that players and staff made that involve the clubs they represent. Interestingly, a few of them sold Bamford last game week and he scored, so unfortunate for them. And we've got news, transfer trends, disaster class. I like this one as well, disaster class. This is a relatively new channel and it has things like penalty misses, red cards, etc. But also, once per game week, you get this summary of the worst transfers and the lowest scoring team. And the worst transfers in the top 10k was as follows. So they sold McCarthy, Dunk, Dallas, Trent, Salah, Son, Jota, Bamford. Pretty much all of them returned that they sold. So that was a 28-point hit. I don't know what they were thinking. They took a 28-point hit and they were sitting at 3.9k overall. And on top of that, the players they sold returned. So it was a loss of 56 points. 56 points they lost off the back of those moves. So they dropped from 3.9k to 45k. Anyway, let's have a look at the captain poll results. I need to get my vote in as well, so I'm going to do that now. Wow. Okay, so Salah is comfortably top on 67 votes. No other players even got double-digit votes. Kane got 9 votes. Trent got 5. DCL got 4. 3 votes for other. If anyone in chat voted other, let me know who you went for. No votes for Mane. No votes for Bamford, Antonio, Wood, Jota, Aguero. Is Spanshy still here? How's there no votes for Wood? Yeah, it looks like what we suspected really. So Salah is the most captain player. There's no two ways about it. He's going to have the highest effective ownership this game week, in my opinion. But we'll see. As always, that information will be in the Gaming Stats channels. So that's what it's all there for. So join the Discord and take advantage of what's available there. I think I finally managed to cover everything that I prepared for this stream. So if anyone's got team questions or, you know, rate my team questions, chuck them in the chat. Happy to answer all your questions. I do need to make my transfer still, so I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to double check there's not been any late news that I've missed. Doesn't look like it. It looks like it's as you were. So the move that I was going to make was Cody is out and Sufal is in, and that's for a -4. So I'm going to confirm that. Locked in, done. So that's me for this game week. That's how I'm going to line up. I do always post my lineup on Twitter anyway. Oh, you're talking about the Everton Sheffield sim. What did the simulation say out of interest, Ayush? Only for fun says Son or Mahrez. Son, definitely. Son's going to start the final 3, but Mahrez I don't think he does. Yeah, put your team questions in the chat and I'll definitely answer as many as I can. Chris asks, Rudiger to Dallas or Nacho to Bamford? Oh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I mean, personally, I think Antonio just edges it over Bamford. So I would say Antonio over Bamford. So really, if it was my team, I'd be looking at Rudiger to Dallas or Nacho to Antonio. But it's a tough one between Dallas or Antonio. I think I would do the Antonio move just because I think he's got a high ceiling. Quite an explosive player. You know, we saw last season, at the very tail end of the season, Antonio put 4 goals past an already relegated Norwich. And in Game Week 37, he plays West Brom. You know, and either side of that West Brom fixture, he's got a couple of good fixtures. So I think I would do Antonio, honestly. James says, what do you think of Greenwood and Iheanacho to DCL and Rafinha for a -4? Or Bruno and Iheanacho to Son and DCL? That's a difficult one as well. I think Son and DCL just edges it for me. But obviously there's just you do leave yourself a little bit exposed in Game Week 37. Man United play Fulham. I would imagine Bruno plays in that fixture. So it just depends if you'd have a route to bring him back in if you really wanted to, or whether you would be stuck with Son. But I think I would go for the Son and DCL route between the two there. And obviously Son could match the points that Bruno scores anyway, so that's obviously a possibility as well. Let's have a look at Ben's team. So the question was who to captain. 108 points, by the way, very nice score. Who to captain? So I would go for Kane. Yeah, it has to be Kane. Oh yeah, Dallas on the bench for his 9-pointer and Pereira for his 7. Yeah, I would go Kane, absolutely. It'd be between Kane, Son and Trent in this team, and I would say Kane is the most obvious option. If anyone in chat has any other ideas, let me know. But I think Kane's the route there. James says Dino or Robertson. Robertson. Dino's got Man City in Gameweek 38, whereas Robertson's got 3 very good fixtures, and he'll definitely play all 3. Arif says, have Mendy a 4-star? Should I sell Forster for -4? I don't think it's worth it. I was considering it myself. I don't think it's worth taking hits on keepers for the minimal game weeks we have left. If I was going to take one, it would be for Pickford, but I just don't think it's worth it. You might get the points back this game week because Pickford's got Sheffield, but obviously, like I said, they play Man City in Game Week 38, so yeah, I don't think it's worth doing a hit. I'm in the same boat. I've got Forster and Mendy, but I'm just going to ride it out. Blitz, how you doing? He says, Antonio is the better, but the fixture could be more favourable for Bamford this week. I'm feeling the Bamford move. Yeah, obviously something that's only just very recently came to light is that Nick Pope's out injured. Isn't going to play this game week, supposedly, in that Burnley fixture. Obviously, Peacock Farrell's a very decent backup choice, so whether that will actually play much of a part or not, we'll see. But they've both got decent fixtures, you know. Antonio plays Brighton, who are missing Dunk, and they're missing Veltman. And obviously they're missing Mopai up front, but that's less of a concern concerning Antonio. But, you know, I think Antonio, personally, I went for him anyway. Thanks for swinging by, James. Good luck in this game week. Let's have a look at Krish's team. 126 points. Outstanding. Bench boost played. Good bench boost. Had Leno and Son. So your team this game, it could be, you go Martinez. Was this a free hit? No, bench boost. Sorry, I did just say that. Martinez, Coleman, Phillips, Salah, Zaha, Jota, DCL, Son, Lingard, Soufal. Yeah, looks good. Have you made a move, Krish? Because you can actually field a full 11, I think, here. Which is rare. I don't think there's many people that are in a position as comfortable as that and able to field a full 11. But the team looks really good for this game week. You could do Castagna to Dallas, something like that. Or maybe Iheanacho to Antonio, something like that. Mikey Man is locked in the transfers. That's something I forgot to do. I wanted to have a look at the FPL Focal Mini League standings. So, Mikey Man is still out on top, 2.2k overall. So what moves did you do, Monkey Man? Did you say you got Antonio in? It's very close at the top though. Kieran's just behind by 3 points. Jovan moved up to third, 10 points behind third. Still all to play for. It's going to be very tight for the run-in. Wow. Okay, I've just seen James. Oops. I've just seen James's score. 153 points James Yap got. Outrageous. So you're up to 10k overall. That is outstanding. What was your game week rank out of interest? 17k game week rank. Outstanding. What a bench boost as well. You had Forster, Holding, Coleman and Lingard. The stuff for legends, isn't it? Using a bench boost and having it come out like that. So your question was, who would you pick between Bruno and Greenwood for the run-in? Can't bring Bruno back. Have you sold Bruno? Is that what you're saying? If you can't bring him back, then I'd say Greenwood. Obviously, as we saw, Greenwood has the most points over the last 5 game weeks. So I think Greenwood, honestly. So Monkey Man did Bruno to Son, Nacho to Antonio, and he did the Melia here. Interesting. For -4, so he could field an 11, so essentially a -2 for Melia. Assuming Melia doesn't concede 2 or more and make less than 3 saves. Yeah, good moves though. Hope it pays off, Monkey Man. Hopefully by the end of the season you can break into top 1k as well. Outstanding season you're having. Oh, you weren't sure who to bench. What was your team ID, Krish? I forget who there was now. Maybe it's between Zaha and Sufal who to bench. I'll take another look. Drop your ID in the chat and we'll have a look. While we're waiting for that, this is the fixture ticker for the final 3. Sorry. Anyone wondering which teams have the best final 3 fixtures? So Liverpool are top. So I think it's a no-brainer to get Salah if you don't have him. I think Trent as well is looking pretty essential for the final 3, if I can use the word. Leeds up there as well with 3 really strong fixtures for the run-in. Southampton, an interesting one. Danny Ings back from injury and got a brace. Sheffield, obviously, no one's looking at. If Sheffield had the form they had last season, then you would really consider like a defensive double-up even in defence. But they've just been awful this season. West Ham, again, decent final 3 fixtures. And Leicester, rock bottom. So, you know, there is logic in moving Iheanacho on. And likewise, your Chelsea assets, considering the fixtures they've got for the remainder. So you were wondering who to bench, Krish? So it was... So you're saying if I do Nacho to Antonio and Rudy to Dallas, who should I bench? I would bench... I think I'd bench Sufal. I didn't realise you had Vardy though, so it makes more sense to downgrade Vardy. I didn't spot that. It makes more sense to downgrade Vardy, to be honest. Iheanacho has been in better form and he's much cheaper. And both of them have the same fixtures and both of them have a blank. So I would sell Vardy over Iheanacho just purely for the price difference and the amount of money it'll give you for Gameweek 37. You know, you can make a massive upgrade in 37. I can't think how much that would give you in the bank, but it might let you do something like Zaha to Bruno in 37 if you wanted to. You would have been top 1k if you captained Bruno last week. Ouch. Is that why you're asking about whether the Bruno goal stood or not, Monkey Man? Clutching at straws, hoping that one was overruled. Yeah, honestly, when I watched it in real time, I thought it was a Phillips' own goal as well. It's difficult to say whether it was going to spin and sneak inside the post, and whether Alisson was getting there or not. But yeah, I think it was an own goal if I'm honest. But you can't really ever say for sure with those sorts of ones. 3 minutes till the deadline. If there's any other questions or team questions, let me know. Let's have a look at Vabble's team. £144 points for Babel. 28-point hit. Babel. Bold moves. Played the bench boost and took a 28-point hit. What were your transfers? Interesting. Wow, you brought in Smith Rowe. What a move that was. Outstanding. So this game week you would play Martinez in goal. In defence, Kabak. You just have to hope he's back. Dallas Dina. I think you have to go back four, right? You have to play Ward. Salah, Jota, Ward-Prowse, Kane. Have you made any transfers, Babel? I think I would do Iheanacho to Antonio. That'd probably be my move here. Let's have a look at Sponshy's team. We've only got 1 minute to the deadline, Sponshy. You're cutting a bit fine, mate. 128 points for Sponshy. Leaks say Mahrez starts. Interesting. So you got Martinez, Godfrey, Ward, Trent, Dallas in back four. Midfield would be Lingard, Zaha, Salah, Kane and Wood up front. Have you made any moves, Sponshy? I mean, it might be too late now, but I would have done probably would have done Iheanacho to Antonio. Yeah, so this is how I'm lining up. Excuse me. The moves I did this week was Iheanacho to Antonio, and then I took a hit to get rid of Cody for Soufal. I just wanted a better defender, really, for the final 3 fixtures. And Soufal obviously has 3 strong fixtures, while Cody had 3 pretty difficult fixtures, including Spurs this game week. So, fingers crossed for a West Ham clean sheet. We'll have to see. Did Nacho to Bamford. Okay, nice. I wonder if there was any truth in that Scott Carson leak, though, whether he starts for Man United tonight. Sam Lee says Sterling, Gundogan and Torres starts. Stones and Foden not playing. Interesting. And Mahrez could be starting. I haven't seen where the Mahrez rumour came from, but Sam Lee's a reliable journalist and says that Sterling, Gundogan and Torres start. Interesting. But that's the deadline. Only for Fun says, why did you do Ailing? Why did I do Ailing? I did it a couple of game weeks ago in preparation for this game week, basically. So my I don't know if I'll be able to view my transfer history now, but we can. Who did I get rid of for that? For Ailing. Ailing. Oh, it's back in game week 35. No. Sorry, it was Rudiger. I got rid of Rudiger. Yeah, that was it. So Rudiger wasn't going to play, and then he had a blank, I think. Something like that. And I needed to free up a bit of cash as well. I honestly forget now what I even needed the cash for. I'll tell you what, it's been a long old day working from home today, and my brain is absolutely fried. But yeah, I needed the extra cash. That was it. I needed the cash for Iheanacho to Antonio, and I needed 0.4 in the bank for that. So I left myself with exactly 0.4, and we finally got to this game week a few game weeks later, and I had that cash in the bank for the Antonio move. So I was just planning ahead, really. That's why I went for Ailing, and obviously the fixtures aren't too bad for him. Anyway, that's it. That's the deadline. So I'm going to call it a day there. Going to go have some dinner. Good luck this game week, everyone. Hope everyone gets a green arrow. Appreciate you all tuning in. Before you go, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not. As always, the party carries on the Discord, so I'll see you guys on there. Again, really thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.